Welcome back to the Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, Jay Pops. Guys, we're back. Please forgive me on yesterday, in which my streaming was messing up for whatever reason. But guys, guess what, man? This time around, we're back, baby. And we're ready. We're ready for another edition of the Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, Jay Pops. So, guys, let's go, man. I told you guys a couple of days ago that this was coming back, okay? So now we're tuned in, baby. We're tuned in. So what's going on out there in Aggie land, all right? Number one, shout out to the Aggie men's golf team for reaching the NCAA championship game. Yes, this is correct, people. The men's golf team is going to the NCAA championship, okay? I'm not going to go on throughout this podcast and not acknowledge other Aggie sports, okay? Shout out to the women's tennis team, right? For getting back to the Elite Eight. They're in there. Yes, people, I keep up with everything. Shout out to track and field, men and women, okay? They're doing their thing. Guys, we're back, man, and this is what we want to build down there in Aggie land. We want people to make hard decisions, right? For when it comes to these scholarships being handed to you, and you got to pick between Texas A&M, Texas, and LSU. I'm going to just name those three. Everybody else, they're kind of pretty much afterthought to me. But Texas A&M, and LSU, man, you got to pick one. All right? You have to pick one. I mean that for football, basketball, baseball for sure, track and field, right? All these three schools I just named, Texas A&M, and LSU, those are damn good track schools. Okay? So keep that in mind. But when it comes to tennis, women's, men and women, it comes to golf, men and women, SEC is still one of the best, okay? We're trying to make it very hard for when you get that golf scholarship to choose between Texas A&M and Texas, okay? Yeah, we're like that down here, okay? Aquarian, I don't think I need to speak too much on that, right? But no, guys, we're here, okay? So, anywho, guys, with all that rambling and stuff like that, but shout out to the men's golf team for reaching the NCAA championship game once again. I'm not sure if it's their first time, second, third, none of that. But shout out to you guys. I love to see Aggie sports prevail and keep going, okay? I love that, man. That is greatly needed. Please, you guys, let me know if you can hear clearly. I am back to doing this on my mobile phone because I just don't like how the way the laptop does it. I'm sorry, so it is what it is. But guys, we're back, okay? What's today's topic, man? What are we talking about? Is Marcel Reed ready? Right? Is Marcel Reed ready to be the starting quarterback for Texas A&M Aggies? Is he ready to lead this team to finally their, another 10-win season after like 13 years? Because the last time we won one was in 2012. 2012 was the last year, people, that we had a 10-win season. As crazy as that may sound, et cetera, it's the God honest truth. We don't want that to keep happening. So, Marcel Reed, can you change it? Can Marcel Reed get you 10 wins? Damn, we want a playoff berth. We do. But, guys, we got to start with winning 10 games already. Can we at least get 10? Right? Damn, we know we can get 9. 9, we can get that. I'm sorry, we can get that. We should have got 9 last year, but we didn't. But we know we can get 9. Can we get 10? Because 10 is extremely needed, okay, to reach not the full potential, damn, but at least kick it. You need 10 wins this season. You need 10 wins. Marcel Reed, I hope you're listening, right? We need to get 10, man. We need to get 10. But back to the original question, is Marcel Reed ready to be starting quarterback? Texas A&M? Are you ready to be that guy that can actually come in and say, well, I changed it? I'm going to say this once again. I changed it. Are we ready for that? Right? Are we ready for Marcel Reed to stage a team? Hell, is Marcel Reed ready to stage a team? Are we ready for KC Concepcion to be the leading wide receiver? Damn. Is KC Concepcion ready to be 1,000-yard wide receiver? Because we haven't seen one. We hadn't seen one in over a decade. That's a long damn time, man. That's a long time. And I could be wrong on that, but I don't think Christian Kirk got 1,000 yards in this last season. I think he had like 900 something, but it wasn't 1,000. Is KC Concepcion ready for that? You know? Is Mario Carver or Mario Craver? Can't remember his last name. Is he ready to be the breakout star? Right? Such a young star, by the way. Is he ready to be that guy? Hey, baby. Hey, mama. That's my baby girl, right? She has a birthday coming up on May 24th. Hey, mommy. Go. You going in the house? Yeah, go in the house, mama. I know. Go in the house, baby. But, you know, are we ready for that? Right? Please excuse me on that one. My little girl is upset. Her chair is messed up. I don't know what happened. But yeah, man. Are we ready for that? Right? I just saw somebody post down there in the comments, beat the heck out of St. Francis. Yes, softball team. Their first game is up on Friday. Okay? Me and my wife, my kids, everybody, we'll be watching that game. Okay? They play at like 2:30. I'm lying. My kids won't be here yet. I'll be watching it, though. My wife will be at work. But I'll be watching the first game. It comes on at 2:30. Trust me, I'll be outside. Right? I'll be out here watching Georgia tomorrow. Georgia and Texas. And I'll talk about the baseball at the end of, like towards the end, right? Because that's not a specific topic. But I'll talk about the baseball towards the end. Okay? But like I said once before, are these guys ready? Is Tyreek Chappelle healthy? Is he ready to be that leader in the defensive backfield? Right? I already know we got Will Lee. Guys, we know this already. Will Lee, I'm not worried about him. Tyreek Chappelle, I'm really not worried about him neither. But is he healthy? Is he 100%? Is he ready to go once that regular season starts? Okay. I saw the Notre Dame game has been switched to NBC. We got that in prime time, 6:30, baby. Right? You can't miss it. You can't miss it. 6:30. Also, E, if you listening, E, please comment. If you listening, E, I need you to comment. Lock me in, brother. Me and you are going to be down there in Arkansas. Okay? I'm going to say that once again. Me and E. Crenshaw, we're going to be in Arkansas. Lock me in. He kept on asking me, man, hey, come on, hey, let me know, man. You got to let me know if we're going to go. I'm going to Arkansas, people. We're going to be down there for that game. It'll probably be like one of those maybe 3 o'clock games for sure. But I'm going down there to Arkansas, people. I'll be there. Arkansas fans, if you're listening, I'll be there. Now when we come down there, don't y'all do all that bull stuff with us, man. Don't know. Hey, show us the finest restaurants, right? Ain't talking about a steakhouse, but show us some good restaurants, right? Let me and my boy go out, have some fun with you guys, man. We really want to do that. Hopefully we connect with some other Aggies down there in Arkansas. And man, let's just go have fun. We're focused on winning that game, though, because that's going to be our first time back down there in a long time. And when that game, and I'll talk about the whole season, right? Come next week. But I'm back, baby. Come on now. This is Texas A&M, man. We love football down here, okay? Hadn't went our way all the time, but we love football down here, right? So, Marcel Reed, right? And like I say, E, if you're listening, you need to either text me or you need to comment and say, hey, man, I heard you, things like that. Lock us in. Lock me in, baby. I'm coming, okay? But with Marcel Reed, right, once again, what are we going to do, Marcel? What are we going to do? right? Can you be that guy? Because I know you can be that guy, but can you really be that guy? Okay, so let's kind of look at some stats here, right? So last year, going back to when he started, okay, it was against Florida. In that Florida game, Marcel wasn't asked to do much, okay? Marcel was asked to go out, perform where I need you to perform in certain areas, but just don't turn the ball over. I'm going to say that once again, Marcel, just don't turn the ball over. He went out there, and Marcel was Marcel Reed. He was him. They weren't ready for him, right? Talking about Florida here. But they knew Marcel had something, right? So in that game alone, he went 11 to 17 passing, 178, 64.7 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 73 yards was the longest pass in that game. Matter of fact, he had 2 73-yard completions on last year, in which a lot of people don't talk about, right? Yes, that comes all from what the wide receiver was able to do, but that was Marcel Reed at the end of the day finding those guys to do the 73 yards, okay? His QBR in that game was 94.9. He had 13 carries for 83 yards and 1 touchdown. That was Marcel Reed being at his finest. We weren't looking for Marcel to throw 200 in that game. We weren't looking for Marcel to throw 250, not even 275. We were just looking for Marcel Reed to get acclimated to being a star. That was it. Marcel Reed, this is your time. Okay? Also, man, for a lot of you guys that weren't able to tune in, right? The NFL release show is coming on right now as we speak. Okay? They are releasing the times, the updates and stuff like that. So I just want to throw that out there for all NFL fans, right? You guys see this in the back. I'm a huge Texan fan, but they are releasing the time and dates and stuff like that. And they'll, break down the NFL season. But that's coming on right now as we speak. Okay, that don't mean you tune from out this podcast and go and catch it. But I'm just saying, for all of you guys out there, that may not know. Okay, so but anywho, he was good in that Florida game. Okay, he was darn good. So we keep going, right? The Bowling Green game. He started out. The Bowling Green game was kind of rocky, right? Because I think in that game, I think Colin Klein asked for him to just be a quarterback, right? A pocket passing quarterback, right? But even in that game, he used his skill set, in which is his legs. He was mobile, right? He was a dual threat in that game. Although in this game here, it was a tale of two halves, right? He was 16 to 29 for 173. He had a 55.2 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 76.4 QBR rating, but he had 12 carries for 91 yards, right? 12 for 91, 0 touchdowns. They won that game very close, and that's when you kind of heard the rumblings out there. Is Marcel Reed really ready to be a quarterback? Is Marcel Reed really ready to be an A&M quarterback? Stuff like that, man. So the rumblings kept going, right? You keep on going, man. You go to the next game. In that Arkansas game, right? He was 11 to 22 for 163 yards, had a 50% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns passing again, 0 interceptions. But he was sacked 3 times. He was sacked 3 times in the Arkansas game. Kind of like at that point of the season, you kind of scratching your head like, damn, man, is Marcel really ready? Are we putting too much on him? Is it not Marcel Reed? Is it the offensive line? Is it the wide receivers? Right? We had a lot of questions, man. But in that game, too, he had a 60 QBR. That QBR went down. That took a hit. So that did make you kind of raise some eyebrows, man, But in that game as well, that's when the talk really started happening because he ran 10 times, only had 13 rushing yards, right? In one touchdown. That touchdown made a difference, though, man, because we ended up winning that game 21-17. But Arkansas is always hard. That's one of our hardest damn games in the SEC. Right? That always is. But in that game there, man, it did kind of take a pause button because you really wanted to know, was this A&M offense ever going to be a passing threat? Right? Because this is what we've been waiting on for years. Like, can we have somebody really come in here and pass the damn football already? We've seen the running quarterbacks, but we've seen a running quarterback that can actually pass. Going back to Johnny Manziel, right? Going back to Kellen Mond. I know Kellen Mond was up and down, but when Kellen Mond was really on, Kellen Mond was really on. We seen Kellen Mond go all lights out against Florida and have like a 300-plus yard damn game. Right? And that was a game that defined Kellen Mond's career. You know, to be honest, man, that was really a game that defined his career going forward. That was the year that we went 9-1, right? That was the year that we ended that ranking at being the number 4 team in the country. And that was that year where we was on the outside of the playoffs looking in which I've forgiven the committee about that year, right? It is what it is. But it's so hard to work your way back into that conversation of being that team that's in the playoffs, right? But now they've expanded it. So we legitimately have a shot, just like all other 12 candidates that are also going to have a shot, right? So that's why I say, man, I'm going to talk more about the season coming up because I do want to talk about some wins and losses. Because as of right now, I'm predicting Texas A&M, the floor for Texas A&M for this season, 2025, should undoubtedly be 8-4. That's your freaking floor. It's no other way around that. Your ceiling, though, to me, your ceiling is 11-1. Okay, that's your ceiling. That middle part of, hey man, can you meet me? Right? With even Marcel Reed being the starting quarterback, because we all know that Marcel will be the starting goddamn quarterback. That midpoint for Marcel to say, hey, I'm goddamn Marcel Reed, and this is what I did in this year. He needs to go 10-2. I'm gonna say that once again. He needs to go 10-2. 10-2 for Mike Elko does a whole damn lot in his second season because now we know where the program can potentially keep going over the years. Okay? He needs to go 10-2 with this team that's coming back though. Because this team after this year, that's going to be a brand new team. Marcel is still going to be the quarterback, right? Rightfully so if he goes 10-2. But this is going to be a brand new team, man. It's going to be a brand new team. KC Concepcion will be the only guy that have left that wide receiver core, but Mario Craver will be here. The 5-star talented freshman will be here. Terrence Bussey, he will still be here, hopefully, right? Because I know we're in the age of the transfer portal and guys look for money, right? Guys seriously do look for money. But I think those guys will still all stick around if Marcel Reed is going to go 10-2 and hell, even 9-3. If Marcel goes 9-3, in which is a damn good 9-3 season, right? You get into that bowl game and you're looking for that 10th win. I think that will define the trajectory of this is Mike Elko and this is Texas A&M going forward. And I'm dead ass honest about that. Right? To the rival, it's a lot of Texas fans out there that don't want to see that shit. To the rival, once again, there's a lot of LSU fans out there that don't want to see that shit. Okay? Because if A&M does get to 9-3 or 10-2 in the regular season, that sparks the conversation for we can go out there and get anybody we goddamn want to, in which we've been doing that, by the way, right? But we can go out there and we can get anybody we want to. Okay? But even going past this, man, you go to the Mizzou game, Marcel didn't start in that game, in which Connor Wegman had an absolute blast in that game. And that's when we all thought Connor was back, right? We all thought that shit. We all thought Connor was back. Man, you know, hey, man, we're playing ball out here. We're about to do X, Y, and Z, you know, and so on, right? Cool. But to go forward, man, after that Mizzou game, right? Marcel didn't get a full start. Okay? He did not. Marcel Reed came into the LSU game. At that point, it's a lot of people that thought that the LSU game was already lost. Right? Marcel Reed comes in, make a couple of plays, boom, boom, boom. Get on down the field. Marcel passed the ball only 2 damn times, man. For the most part, Marcel handed the ball to Le'Veon Moss, Amari Daniels, and to himself, and got 3 damn rushing touchdowns. Marcel Reed completely destroyed LSU damn near alone by himself. He didn't pass the ball like that in that game. And to me, that was really the birth of Marcel Reed being the Texas A&M quarterback going forward. We all know this because this is when he got his full start. That South Carolina game. South Carolina fans, if you listening, God damn it, you coming to Kyle Field this year, baby. We want our payback. You embarrassed us on national TV. We don't take that lightly, right? I'm going to say that once again. We don't take that lightly. No matter what the hell Oklahoma says to y'all about that old-ass game way from 2002, I think, or something like that. Yeah, we lost 77-0. We know that shit, right? But guess what? We didn't take Oklahoma lightly the next time we caught their asses slipping too, because we beat their asses in that Cotton Bowl 44 to goddamn 12 or something like that. We gave them our payback. Yeah, we wanted your asses, and we paid you for that. We paid you back for that. We went in Big 12 way longer after. I know that part, but that was payback, right? South Carolina, we hadn't forgot. I'm going to say that once again. We hadn't forgot. You put up 44, we want 50. I'm going to say that once again. You put up 44, we want 50 this go around. And you done that with Marcel Reed, that starting quarterback. At some point in that goddamn game, we was tied, right? Marcel Reed stats for that game, 18-28, 206 yards, 64.3% completion, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 22 was his longest. He was sacked 3 freaking times. We goddamn remember. We remember, okay? Marcel was QBR rating 51.6. He had 16 carries for 46 yards, 0 touchdowns. That's fine. I guarantee you ain't going to see that same Marcel come Kyle Field this year. I'm going to say that again. You ain't going to see that same Marcel this year. I guarantee that game will be packed. Lenore Sellers, we got your ass this time. I'm going to say that once again. Lenore Sellers, if you're listening, welcome to Kyle Field, buddy. No, we're coming for you. I have no clue why we couldn't sack you last year. This year, though, we're getting on your ass. No, man, we're tearing your ass up. It ain't going to look like last year. All right? Am I talking shit right now? Yeah, I am. I honestly am. Because I didn't like the outcome of that game. Nobody liked the outcome of that game. Right? Especially after we came up, we came back from beating LSU ass. No, man, we're coming. Right? In LSU, they aren't taking things lightly neither. You best believe they're going to be ready for us. At goddamn in Baton Rouge next year. Can't think of the damn field name for whatever goddamn reason. But you can best believe that LSU will be ready for us. They will. All right? They'll be waiting for us in Baton Rouge. We know this part. Okay? But anywho, that South Carolina game, right? We kind of had the up and down moments. We felt some type of way. We honestly did. Right? Then it went to the New Mexico game. This is when Marcel Reed started upping his completions, right? 20 for 31, 268 yards, 64.5, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 33 the longest, 0 sacks, of course, 87.4 QBR, 4 rushes, 41 yards, 1 touchdown, right? Marcel Reed kind of made a statement in that game, but it was New Mexico out of all teams. It was 38-3. We understand. Then you go to the Auburn game. Good God Almighty. The Auburn game right now to this day is talked about. We lost that game in overtime. We had no business being down by 3 touchdowns. But Marcel Reed made his way back. He made his way back, right? I'll give Marcel every bit of credit for saying, I'm not going to go out like that. And he came back. Shout out to Noah Thomas, right? That's at Georgia, by the way. We know this part. But shout out to him for making that completion, okay, and running those 73 yards. We know what it was. Marcel Reed in this game, he showed us that he was a legit quarterback. I never said he wasn't legit, but he showed us he was legit. He went 22 of 35, 297 yards, 62.9 completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. 73 was the longest. He was sacked 4 freaking times in that game, in which that made absolutely no goddamn sense to me, man. None at all. His QBR was 67.3, though. 21 rushes, 66 yards, 0 touchdowns. They contained him, right? Let's all be real here. They contained Marcel Reed, and we know this part. That's fine, right? Can we get back? Can we get back to being that type of team with Marcel Reed that put up 41 points? Lost in 4 overtimes, by the way, right? I was drunk as hell at the end of that game. My wife will remind me of that to this day, man. I took all kind of shots. I think I had drunk my whole bottle of whiskey. And it was like, wow, man, like we really lost that game, right? But we really did lose that game. That made no sense to me. Made no sense at all. But we lost, okay? But then you keep going forward. In the biggest game of them all, the rivalry game, the Lone Star Showdown. This is when, with those 2 losses, right? Even with those 2 losses, and which is crazy as hell, by the way, this team was still able to manage being in a driver's seat of going to the SEC title game. I believe that sticks heavily with this team. I wanted to stick heavily with them. And I want them to know that you were 1 game away from being in the SEC championship, but you lost to your biggest rival, which is the Texas Longhorns. I hate that. I know those guys in the locker room hated that because we scored no touchdowns in this game. Okay, Marcel Reed was 16 of 23, 146 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. His lowest QBR ever. No, I take that back. South Carolina was his lowest QBR. But 58.7 QBR, 14 carries, 60 yards, 0 touchdowns. And we were in the red zone 3 goddamn times and didn't make a score, not off of none of them. We didn't kick field goals, none of that shit. We got stopped, everything. You know, so you battle it out. Cool, get that out your system. You knew you was going to a bowl game. This is when we went 8-4, right? That was our shot at going 9-3 for the first time in a long ass time. We didn't do it. We didn't do it. I hope that sticks heavy with them. We didn't do it. They weren't in a position like Jimbo Fisher ever had them in, right? In a regular season, I'm talking about. Because that season where Jimbo lost to LSU, at LSU, goddamn, man. That hurt. That hurt because that team should have went 9-3, at least 9-3. That team really should have went goddamn 10-2. But we didn't do it. We didn't do it. Went 8-4, got to LSU, was up, lost the goddamn ball game on the last, on one of the biggest attempts by a guy that was actually with us, but then he transferred. Oh man, that hurt, man. That game hurt against LSU, man. I still think about that to this day. Because my wife looked at me and was like, God, still can't beat LSU in Baton Rouge, right? They're going to try to, man, look, I put it like this, right? And I'm going to tell you guys a hidden gem here and where I felt like this for the softball team. I said to myself, if that softball team beats LSU, then they're going to make one of the biggest runs that we've seen since since 19 freaking 80, either 84 or 85, right? And when they won that the last softball title, if they beat LSU, in which was a goddamn kryptonite, then they're going to go very far. Damn it, if what I said wasn't true, I don't know what else will. They beat LSU, and this softball team is the number one softball team in the country. They have the number one seed. They have legitimately in a clear, easy, I will say as well, but a clear path of going to the College World Series, right? And they're going to get another clear path of being in the College World Series championship game, Women's College World Series. So take that for what you want to, and I'm going to say the same thing this year. In 2025, Texas A&M has to beat LSU. You have to beat LSU at LSU. Every time you don't beat LSU at LSU, I've seen bad things happen for this team. I've seen very bad things happen for this team. That's not your last game. Nowadays, right? This is a game that's lumped into the middle of your SEC schedule. It is what it is. You have to go out to Baton Rouge. You got to go beat their asses. That's going to solidify the rest of your schedule going forward. In my honest opinion, you have to get past those guys. You got to go to Baton Rouge and you got to take it. You got to take it. Okay? So, anywho, man, going forward, right? Marcel Reed gets to the bowl game, in which was a complete debacle of the defense. 26 of 42, 292 yards, 61.9 completion, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 sack, 75.6 QBR. I think we're going to get that Marcel Reed going forward. He had 9 carries in that game, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. I think we're going to get that type of Marcel Reed for 2025, right? But we will see, okay? Spring game, right? I know I talked a lot, right? I talked a lot, but I didn't talk about the spring game, in which was the biggest topic on here. Spring game. Spring game ain't gonna show you everything. That part I do know. I'm gonna say this about that offense, man, and I'm gonna be straight up 100% real with you. Passing the ball, we didn't look good, right? We made some plays. God damn it, we got some wide receivers, people. If this offense can't get over 25 to 3,000 yards passing the ball, then we have a serious quarterback problem again. KC Concepcion is going to be a goddamn problem. He's going to be a problem. Mario Craver is going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. We have not seen what Terry Bussey can fully do, because Terry Bussey didn't fucking play in the spring game, right? Excuse my language. We haven't seen what the talented true freshman could do, because he didn't play in the spring game. It's a lot of guys on this receiving core that are there to catch the football. The problem is, can you pass them the football? I didn't like what I seen passing the football in that spring game. I'm going to be totally honest. But I do understand that it's a spring game. You ain't going to show me everything. However, it's a couple of balls that went over a couple of receivers' heads. It's a couple of balls that just didn't get there. You had a couple of interceptions in this game, right? The wide receivers are getting open. Damn it. For the first time in a long time, we have wide receivers getting open on that field. And I love it. We have wide receivers getting open on the football field at Texas A&M, and I love it. Right? That offense got to do better, though. It has to do better. Running the football, I'm not worried about it. If anybody comes on this show and say, I'm worried about the rushing attack. I don't know why. What I didn't know was that E.J. Smith was still there. I thought he didn't have no more years, but apparently I was wrong. The problem is Amar Daniels is there, right? Le'Veon Moss is coming back with a vengeance. So South Carolina fans, please be ready. And he wants to smell blood. Thing about Le'Veon, once he smells blood in the water, Le'Veon is going to go for 80 yards here, 90 yards there. I'm talking about before the game is over. He's going to have an 80-yard run, 70-yard one, 60-yard run. And the list goes on from there. We have a talented true freshman, DeAndre Writing, I believe, or Ridding, I believe. We also have the other freshman, in which his name is not popping up, but we have him. Our tight ends, damn sure better get a share of that workload. In which, if it's not a tight end on this team that has at least 500 receiving yards, I feel like that's a problem. You have some tight ends, use them, right? We need to be a dangerous team passing this football in 2025. Rushing is going to be there. I'm not concerned about that. That offensive line still looks damn good to me. However, that defensive line, whoever is going up against them, that defensive line would look better than what they did on last year. Okay? I think the defensive line was just trying to do a little bit too much at the end of the season, and that's why you've seen them take a big dip. Okay? Shout out to Shamar Stewart, though. And shout out to Shamar Turner, right? Also, shout out to my boy that went in the second round as well. The guy that came there and played for us, Nick Scort. Shout out to Nick Scort. He went second round. He went highly second round, in which we knew he was. I love to see those guys go first round, second round, third round, right? Shamar Turner in the third, Nick Scort in the second, Shamar Stewart in the first. Shamar's going to rip people apart for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm telling you guys this now. I will be watching. We don't have them on our schedule, thankfully, but I will be watching, okay? This defensive line, though, right? Those guys in that game, man, in that spring game, in which, let me go ahead and pull this up. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can, Texas A&M spring game results. Let me see if I can get some things on this. I want to do spring game results here. Because that defensive line is going to be hectic. I think that defensive line is going to have way more sacks this year, right? I will go ahead and say that. I'm not going to lie to you. But we're going to be good. We're going to be damn good. And I like it. I like it a whole lot. I don't know what happened there. But I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the defensive lineman in that spring game, in which, let me see if I can get his name pulled up here. But this guy was a true freshman. I'm gonna say that once again. This guy was a true freshman, right? He was good. He was damn good. And I expect to see that going forward. All right. This spring game ended in a result of 19-7, in which was a defensive score out of this damn world. For the white team, freshman Marco goddamn Jones. Marco Jones will most likely end up being in that number 2 rotation spot for that defensive line. Okay. I'm going to say that once again. Marco Jones will be in that second team rotation for that defensive line. I don't think he'll be a starter by all means, but then again, I could be totally wrong, man. He's going to be good. Okay. Isaiah Williams was another one. That's a wide receiver, right? He hauled in 4 passes for 51 yards and a touchdown. Newcomers, Casey Concepcion and Mario Crava led the offense on the Maroon team. Concepcion totaled 64 yards in the game, high 7 receptions, and Crava added 78 yards on 5 catches. Man, look at here. That offensive wide receiver core should be dead. Terry Bussey in there yet. So who knows what Terry Bussey is going to do. This offense should be rolling in top 25 next year. I'm going to say it again. They should be in the top 25 next year. If they're not, then I'm tripping, okay? Ashton Belter-Roman as well. He got a 15-yard touchdown reception, and I seen that touchdown. Good Lord have mercy. The throws that were being thrown is out of this world. So I seen something, right? Very interesting that came out. And it said Texas A&M quarterback room, right? It said the Texas A&M quarterback room was rated top 5 in the country. I like that. I also understand why they did rate Texas A&M, well, not top 5 in the country, but top 5 in the SEC. I understand why they rated Texas A&M quarterback room the way that they did, right? That's darn good, man. The reason being is because not only Marcel Reed is going to be the starting quarterback, but the guys behind him, right? They're also darn good. You know? Where's my guy at, man? Where's my guy? I have to look at these guys, man, because once it gets to, kind of trying to think of these guys off the top of my head, man, I just go all over the place because there's so many names to think of, right? So let me go to the roster, in which is what I need to do here. So let me go to the roster. Let me find these guys, right? Because I do need to know the quarterback names. Terry Bussey, Marco Jones, Marcel Reed, of course. Eli Marcos, I don't think he played in that game. Miles O'Neal. God damn it. Miles O'Neal is coming. I told y'all about Miles O'Neal, man. Miles O'Neal, he's not only a pocket passer, but he will beat you running that football. He will beat you out the pocket. So I like that competition down there in Aggieland, and also Paxton Land, which is from Austin Westlake, and which is crazy because don't let the Longhorns fool you. They know who Paxton Land is. Do not let them fool you at all. They know that guy. But Miles O'Neal, man, I'm ready to see Miles O'Neal in a regular season game, in which should be these games, right? In which is the first game that we play, in which is not Utah State, but it's UTSA. At some point, we should be up in a ball game somewhere in that second half. I'm gonna say like probably mid third quarter. We should be at a road to where, hey, Miles O'Neal, are you ready to come on in? Right? We should be seeing Miles O'Neal. We should no longer need Marcel Reed in the game anymore. Right? Seriously, that shouldn't be happening. Man, I think he's going to be damn good. Whenever it's his turn, in which is after next year, and I think this is a guy that isn't going to leave because of NIL offers. I think this is a guy that's just loyal to Texas A&M, and I believe when it's his turn, Miles, man, hey, Miles is going to do his thing. Miles is going to only do 1 year, though. I've been saying this for a couple of these guys. Miles is going to do 1 year, and Miles is going to have a hell of a year. Miles could be that quarterback to win us a national championship. I'm not even much lying to you. But Marcel Reed also could be that guy to not only win us a national championship, but just at least get us to that playoffs. And it's kind of like, okay, Marcel, you did your thing. We didn't win it with you. But damn it, thank you, Marcel, for kicking in the door. Right? Marcel Reed, if you're listening, if you don't win a championship, little brother, at least you kicked in a door. Hey, this is Texas A&M now. We want playoff berths. We want SEC titles, right? I think Marcel Reed will be your first quarterback to win an SEC title. I'm going to say that part. But I think Miles O'Neal will be your first quarterback to win that national title. Okay? I know a lot of you guys may be trying to just, man, let me wrap my brain around this. You mean to tell me Miles O'Neal is better than Marcel Reed? I didn't say that. I think Marcel Reed is the guy to kick in the door. But I think Miles O'Neal is that guy to get us to that last game and win it. That's how I feel, right? So take that for what you want to. I think these guys on this team, especially on defense, and in which is with Dalton Brooks because he's still there. And guys like Jordan Pride, right? He's going to stick around. I think Jordan Pride is going to be that. He's going to be a guy that can stand up defensively and going to win us a national championship. Solomon Williams is another one in which he's a freshman. He was good in that game. But Kelvin Riggins, right? Linebacker. Tristan Jernigan, right? Shout out to that young man. Guys like that, man. I think that's the guys that stands up, stays there, wins you a national title, and put their name in the record books, right? In which a lot of people probably be mad at me for this, right? But I do think Texas can win a national title, right? But even with Texas had to learn how to kick in the door. They had to learn how to come back, kick in that door, be a team that solidifies, hey, we're the team that is going here and going there. And I'm only using them for example, right? Because Texas does have a good football team at the end of the day. But I think Arch Manning is a guy that can kick in that door of a national title berth type. I do feel that way. I don't think they're going to get there this year, in which I'm going to say that once again, I don't think they're going to get there this year. Next year, yeah, I think so, right? How ironic would that be for Texas and Texas A&M to play for an SEC title this year? I'm being dead ass honest with you. I can see Texas and Texas A&M playing for an SEC title game, not for maybe this year, but for next year. I can see that. But I think Marcel Reed is the guy that leads you to your first SEC title appearance. Well, SEC title game appearance on this year. I'm going to put Texas A&M getting to the SEC title game this year. I'm honestly going to put that. I think Marcel Reed has the tools to do it. I think Marcel Reed also has the tools to win it, right? The only thing I want to say is that they will win a national title this year because I don't believe that. However, I can see them getting to a national title game, but you have to get to a playoff game. I can also see them being a team that's playing a playoff game at home, right? And how special would that be for Kyle Field to be packed like that, right? But I think you just have to keep playing. You can't let up from here, right? You have to believe in it. You have to keep going. Nothing stops, right? You just have to keep on digging, clawing, stuff like that. But I think guys like that, man, these guys sticking around, right? And as well as Jared Kerr, I think Jared Kerr is going to make more of an impact this year, bigger than anybody else on that field. He's not going to go first round, but I don't think Jared Kerr was expecting to go first round. I think Jared Kerr just wanted to be a part of Texas A&M. That was his loyalty to this program. And I think a lot of people forget about him. Jared Kerr just wanted to be an A&M guy. He's going to get drafted, in my opinion. It'll be late, but Jared Kerr just wanted to be that guy that said, hey, I went to Texas A&M University, right? And I stand up for that, okay? I think Blake Ivy is going to make a difference on that offensive line. I don't think he's going to be a starter, but I think he's going to make a difference, right? I think Jordan Scarlett all of a sudden comes into this picture and where he's going to be a good guy. I think Dylan Evans, he's going to be damn good. And I can go on and on, man. There's going to be a lot of these guys. I think Ruben Fowler is going to be good, right? I think Ruben Owens is going to be damn good. I think Ruben Owens is going to be running back 2. I think we finally get to see Ruben Owens at his best, but he's going to be running back 2. I think Le'Veon is 1, right? And then Amari is 3. I think all 3 of these guys are going to get drafted. I think Amari will probably go in like that 6th round. I think Le'Veon Ball means will probably go in. If he goes first round, it's going to be like late in like that late first round edition, probably like the last pick. And I think Ruben Owens, man, I think Ruben probably goes high first round. It depends on how the way these guys are going to do it. If these guys both come out damn good, in which both have over 1,000 rushing yards. I think Ruben goes first, Le'Veon goes second, but Le'Veon goes like that first pick in the second round, man. Seriously, man. Seriously, because for Le'Veon Moss to come from where he came from, that young man done this damn thing. And I admire that for him to be so young and coming from a background that he came from. Okay. I talked to one of his old head coaches, I think either middle school or high school. And he's from the Louisiana area, man. You know, out there in the rough part of Louisiana, right? And his head coach said this, man, like, man, LSU wanted Le'Veon bad, man. But he was like, I understand why Le'Veon did what he did because Le'Veon had to get away, right? The young man has a daughter. If I'm not mistaken, he has only one kid. I think he's still with that young lady. And he provides at his best for them, man. I love that, right? Young men we're talking about continuously growing, right? Young black men at that, man, coming from that area where I know a whole lot about because I'm from that type of area, but I'm from the Houston parts, right? Fifth Ward area. But it's a lot that I've seen, right, that I can't discuss with you all, in which that's just too much to talk about. But with Le'Veon, man, I think Le'Veon is going to make this team scary again. I think a lot of people already know about Le'Veon, of course, right, because of that unique goddamn season and, you know, that he had. That was a monster season. But, man, I just think that running back room is one of the best in the country. They are one of the best in the country. And I think we're going to do some damage. It's a lot of these teams that have lost a lot of people. And I think it's time for Texas A&M, right, in which they're bringing back a hefty percent of their roster. And they have a lot of blue chips on this team still. And that's credit to Mike Elko. I think he's going to do his thing, okay? So, like I say, spring game, I didn't like it a whole lot. But it was good enough for me to gauge where this team could go, how this team is going to look. But we'll see, okay? Once again, Eric, if you're listening, I'm going with you to the Arkansas game. I'm not bullshitting. Please go ahead and get my ticket. And then we can do what we got to do, all right? Cool. All right, so rambling about that, right? Let's go on to baseball, right? Baseball is going through its ups and downs. Told you about that already. Once again, it had no business losing to Missouri, let alone getting swept by Missouri. Okay? Missouri owns Bluebell Park right now. They honestly do. However, you got to find a way to get up off the map. I think that they can go into Georgia. I think they can beat Georgia. The problem is this here for me. If you're not going to beat Georgia, how many wins are you going to get? Right? Because you can only get one. Are you going to walk away with that one win? Or are you going to walk away swept again? Because that's going to be your fifth sweep. Because that's going to be your fifth sweep of the season. Right? Mike Early, right? Mike Early, if you get a hold of this podcast through whomever connections, I am going to say this, in which I believe Mike Early already knows, right? You're not going to come back this season. However, I totally get it, right? Because you were a first-year head coach, you had no experience. I can understand. But the trajectory of where you're going, right? If you come out of this game swept, I'm going to tell you right now, you have no choice but to win an SEC tournament championship. However, if you don't come out of this game swept, you need to go to the SEC championship. You need to go to the SEC tournament. You need to every bit of get up to the SEC championship. If you're victorious, in which I believe that you are victorious, right? I'm a big believer in Mike Early. You need to get down to Georgia. You need to run rule them. If not 3 games, at least 2. You need to come from out of there walking like the big dog, right? When you get to Georgia, This is what you need to do. In my God honest opinion. You need to walk in there and you need to drag your damn nuts all over that damn baseball field like it's no tomorrow. You need to have the team mentality and dragging their nuts all around that baseball field from base to base to base all the way back to home plate. Why? Because you had no business losing to Missouri. Missouri came into Bluebell Park and they dragged their nuts all around your damn bases until they made it home, until they made it back home to Missouri. You need to go out to Georgia and you need to do the same. Number one, Georgia's waiting on you. Number two, Georgia hadn't forgot about what you did to them. You wasn't the head coach. I understand that. You were the assistant coach and you were the hitting coach. It was a reason to why Georgia got their asses run ruled, in which they clearly run ruled you in 2 innings. However, I still remember that game like it's yesterday. You came back and you run ruled them. That has never been done before in NCAA history. You're going out there. They remember that. They didn't forget because now they got a shot at you. They're going to try to do your ass the same way you done them. I'm not lying when I say that. That's going to be some of the hardest pitches being thrown at you. That's going to be some of the hardest balls hit that's being done to your pitchers. You got to find it in you, man, to shut them down. You need to be 6-0, in which what I mean by that is you need to be undefeated against Georgia in back-to-back years. You need to go down there and you need to sweep them. It's not about what you thought about. You need to go down there to Athens and you need to sweep them. Damn it, if you don't do it for nobody else, do it for the softball team, because they rained out one of our victories. And we weren't able to match Oklahoma and tie up for the regular season championship. You need to do it. Shit. If you don't do it if you don't do it for y'all, do it for the softball team. Do it for them. I don't care. However, you need to know that not only is your season on the line, but your career is on the line, man. Mike, you will be fired. And I know that. You're going to get fired, man. You're literally going to get fired. And I feel bad for that. I feel very bad for that, man. I feel sorry for, I ain't gonna say I feel sorry. I feel very bad for not only you, but I feel bad for your family, because y'all did buy into the A&M tradition. But what we want, right, and what a lot of people want at the top is for this program to be winners and not losers, man. So we're going to have a losing conference record at the end of the day. That's understandable. But you need to go down to Athens. You need to sweep them. You need to take care of your business. But when you leave Athens, you need to go to the SEC tournament, man, and you need to win the SEC tournament. You need to win that. Because what's going to happen is this, and this is my vision right now, and I believe all this shit is going to come true. I see A&M beating Georgia. I see A&M playing Florida, which is crazy. I see A&M playing either Florida or Mississippi State in the SEC tournament championship game, winning that tournament championship, getting to the regional, in which I heard Kendall Rogers say this. And this was Kendall Rogers' thoughts. He said, man, for whatever reason, I see A&M getting to a goddamn regional, and I see them beating whoever regionals that they are in. I see them winning whatever regionals they're in, winning the super regionals, and I see A&M in Omaha, which is crazy to me. I still see Texas A&M being an Omaha team right now, even with them getting swept by Missouri. That is oh so crazy to me, because I know these kids got it in them. I don't think these kids want you to go anywhere. I think Caden Sorrell wants to play for you and only you. I think Terrence Keel wants to play for you and only you. And man, I think they're going to show up these last 3 games. Man, this is crazy talk, but I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with Florida. And look, Florida had no business being in the College World Series last year. Somehow, some way, they asses got there. Ole Miss had no business being in the College World Series that year in 2022, playing against Oklahoma and beating Oklahoma for that national title. They had no business being there, but they got there. I see Texas A&M doing the same thing. They have no business being there, but in this case, A&M was projected to be a top 8 Omaha seeded team. I can see it. This is crazy talk to me. I know it is. I tried to talk myself out of it many a times, but I can see A&M going into somebody regional. I can see people in that regional getting so pissed off because they feel like they got cheated because A&M was in their regional. I see a lot of people getting pissed off because Florida, man, I feel like A&M in Florida is going to end up in the College World Series again, in which they have no business being there. Not with how the way the season has gone, but then again, when you look up, Mike earlier showed you he can go on the road and beat Tennessee. He can go on the road and beat Arkansas, in which we hadn't won there ever since his ass came. Well, we hadn't run there, I think, ever since 2016, or ever since we've been ever since 2016. He beat LSU at home, in which LSU is going to be most likely the number 1 seed when it comes to NCAA tournament announcement times. Early, if Early gets to the regional, he's going to by all means keep his job. I'm telling everybody this now. He is safe. If he gets to a regional, he is safe. Man, A&M hasn't won the SEC tournament title since Josh Childers in 2016. That team was damn good. That team went, I think, 42 and 15, I think, or something like that. 42 and 15 or 42 and 10. I think that team went 42 and 15. Won the SEC tournament, in which our names in the record books. And we went back to the tournament game in 2023. We went back to the tournament game and where we lost to Vanderbilt. I think A&M gets back there in 2025. I'm telling you guys what I know, man. This now if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. They get knocked out. But I think we're in for some questionable things. And that's just what you've gotten from this baseball team this year. Okay? So it is what it is. Like I say, but I do think we'll win regionals. I think we'll be in Omaha. I'm not going to say we're going to play for College World Series championship, but man, I do think we get to Omaha. That's no fraud. Look, the top 8 teams I got for Omaha right now. Number 1 is LSU. Number 2 is Texas. Number 3 is FSU. Number 4 is Clemson. Number 5 is Tennessee, because I do think Tennessee is going to make it out. Number 6 is who is number 6? Who's number 6? I think number 6 is it's not North Carolina, it's not Auburn Eden. I don't have none of those guys. I think number 6 is CCU. Number 7 is damn, man, it's crazy to say. I think number 7 is Vanderbilt. And I think number 8 is Texas A&M. Man, it's going to be a bunch of SEC teams in that tournament again. I think number 8 is Texas A&M, and they get that last spot. But I think that's number 8. This is mind-boggling to me. This is crazy. But yeah, So anywho, thank you guys for tuning in. That's all I have for you on today. But please tune in on tomorrow. I'm going to do something before Texas A&M and Georgia comes on. So just be looking for that. All right. Love all of you guys. Once again, please subscribe to the show. If you can, please hit that like button. Please send me your comments, things like that. And once again, right, hashtag Gigamakis.